the Sabah issue with Malaysia, Foreign Affairs Sec. Teodoro Locsin Jr. maintained that the Philippine claim over this territory will always be the policy of government, banking on a campaign promise made by Duterte. What has been the policy will always be the policy of the government, especially those for the interest of the country. We have to stake our claim, Locsin said. There's no official word from Malacañang as yet, even as Malaysia repeatedly junked the Philippine claim and asserted its ownership of Sabah. But Locsin quoted Duterte as saying in the 2016 campaign that, "We are allowing proprietary heirs to talk. Since Sabah is part of our claim, it will be there as our land." The Malaysian government has maintained that the Philippine claim over Sabah has no basis in international law. In a note verbal sent to the United Nations on August 27, Malaysia noted a 2001 judgment of the International Court of Justice stating that, modern international law does not recognize the survival of a right to sovereignty based solely on historic title. Malaysia, responding to a note verbal sent by the Philippines to the UN in March, said it has never recognized Manila's claim to the state of Sabah, formerly known as North Borneo. It also rejected the Philippine claim to the Calayan group of islands in the West Philippine Sea, describing it as excessive maritime claims that supposedly have not conformed with the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea (UNCLOS). As regards the Philippines' assertion that the area overlaps with its future submission, the government of Malaysia considers it as being premature in nature and emphasized that the submission is without prejudice to the positions of the states which are parties to a land or maritime dispute in accordance with the permanent provisions of UNCLOS, it added. Last December, Malaysia sent a partial submission to the Commission on the Limits of Continental Shelf claiming portions of the South China Sea as its continental shelf. Manila responded with a note verbal saying the Malaysian submission covers features within the Calayan Island group over which the Republic of the Philippines has sovereignty. Moreover, the Malaysian submission is projected from portions of North Borneo, formerly Sabah, over which the Republic of the Philippines has never relinquished its sovereignty, it added. Last month, Malaysia summoned the Philippine ambassador in Kuala Lumpur after foreign Locsin tweeted that Sabah is not in Malaysia. "Sabah is not in Malaysia if you want to have anything to do with the Philippines," he wrote in response to a tweet of the U.S. Embassy regarding support provided for returning Filipino repatriates from Sabah, which it referred to as being part of Malaysia. Malaysian Foreign Affairs Minister Hisham Mudin Hussein said Locsin's tweet was an irresponsible statement that affects bilateral ties. Locsin responded by summoning the Malaysian envoy in the Philippines. "No country can tell another what it can and cannot say about what the latter regards as rightfully its own," he tweeted. "I don't insist China says only what we want to hear about the arbitral award. It is free to say what it wants while we say and do what needs doing. That holds for Sabah," he added. The long simmering dispute on Sabah would not lead to a confrontational war as other drumbeaters have projected, the heirs to the Sultanate of Sulu assured. But the renewed campaign for Malaysia to recognize the Sultanate as the rightful owner with the heirs bearing ancestral rights to the island should be settled through a government-to-government dialogue. This was made clear by the Sulu Sultanate's Prime Minister Wazir Amrusi Rasul, who stated that the Philippine government must help find a peaceful resolution to the Sultanate's cause. Rasul said support must come from no less than President Duterte, who made the Sabah claim one of his campaign advocacies in 2016. Settlement of the Sabah issue is among the campaign promises made by President Duterte during the last presidential elections, Rasul stated. The Tausug people will not forget his promise that he will give his full support to the Sabah claim. Duterte vowed to defend Sabah's sovereignty. There are about 500,000 Filipinos in the oil-rich island.